Come get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view
of everything that's Keda's Brew.
From health, beauty, food, and crypto, these are the things you'll get to know. So come find the brew
that's right for you. Then you'll know what to do. Come get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view of everything that's Keda's Brew. Keda's Brew will change your perspective, give you food for thought in the right direction, show you things to move the scale and help you out with every detail.
Change your perspective, food for thought in the right direction,
show you things to move the scale and help you out with every detail.
Come on, get to know your girl.
Go get Come on, get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view. It's everything that's Keda's Brew.
What up, what up, what up, everybody? It's your girl Keda coming in today for Keda's Brew TV. Today, we are going to talk about AI. I know it's taboo for some people. Myself, I am not an expert. I am learning as I go, literally. But I will say that AI is a very interesting tool, and as with anything, there's a yin and a yang for everything. Most people do tend to talk about it a certain way, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of the things that happen with AI. Okay. We're going to talk about what it does good, what it does bad, and how you can actually use it without losing it. Losing everything, right? So I'm excited about this conversation. Do not hesitate to leave a message, to ask a question. And if I can answer it outright, I will. If not, then I'll find the answer. Because like I said, I am not an expert. I am learning as I go. From the inception of artificial intelligence, because that's exactly what AI is. It's artificial intelligence. And it is one of those technologies that's ever changing. And it's ever changing because it deals with the information that it's provided. Okay. And it can do a lot of different things. Some of the things, as I was doing research on AI, was, just taking a look at, okay, what can it do? Why is it important? Why would we want to use AI? Right. And, as we progress and start to learn new things, do new things are introduced to us, less and less time is there for us to use, right? Whether it's reading a book or whether it's, writing a letter, or not even that, writing a resume or something of that nature where you might need some assistance, you might need a proofreading or something like that. AI is very helpful for that. Okay. It will research, and it can only bring up information that is available to it. And it can learn, right? That's the thing about artificial intelligence. It doesn't necessarily have the intelligence to begin with. It's taught. So, some people use it as an assistant. It will keep up with your, you know, schedule. It will help you. It will learn how you think, how you would write something. And, you know, for a person that is into digital assets and cryptocurrencies and maybe on, you know, social media, it can write posts for you, or it can direct you towards other people that, you know, may be in line with your thought processes. And we've started to see some of that. um, we've started to see that with algorithms on different, you know, different platforms, social media platforms, things of that nature. We're starting to see how the use of certain words, or the use of, you know, a certain phrasing. If you're seeing pictures made of people that may not have even been there, or they've taken an old picture and utilized it to make a new picture, or they have made videos. I've seen those where you got people crip walking, you know, you got people doing all kinds of things. So some of that can be fun and games. You know, there's also a lot of applications out here that can really assist with businesses as well. It can keep track of your inventory, right? It can make reports for you, it can write letters for you, all kinds of things. And yes, Miss World Be Free, absolutely. The videos are crazy. I've seen some of the most outrageous, outlandish things that are just like, that's gotta be. There's no way. There's no, absolutely no way that video is real, you know. Um, and then also, you know, with um, actually refurbishing pictures that may be old, maybe a little tattered. The color has diminished or it's faded. To be able to bring back vitality to that particular picture, some of those are just amazing. And then also they do come to life. You do see that, or it'll be a situation where they have a young you, and then they put the older you together and y'all walk towards each other in a picture. You know what I mean? These are things that we're seeing now with AI. And that's just tipping, you know, that's just touching the surface. Those are small things, you know. And you know, I think it's important to think about all of the good. Let's talk about all the good that can come from AI. Okay. Let's talk about that, because I think that that is one of the things that is going to be very, very helpful. You know, is that there's a lot of learning that can happen, and the learning that happens through AI can be, you know, really centered around the person, right? So you may learn a certain way. There's a bunch of different ways to learn. You can be an auditory learner, you could be a visual learner, or you could be a kinesthetic. So that means you have to do it, right? Or you can be a combination of the three. You can be all of them, okay? There's not a you know, there's definitely not a situation where people cannot learn. You know, it's just a matter of finding the right ways to teach them. And I think that having AI be able to learn the person and then be able to explain it back to them or teach them in a way that they would be able to receive that and do that. I think that's one of the most important things about AI. Also, for those people that may, you know, have an issue, may be mute, you know, may have some selective mutism. Some people may have never heard that. Sometimes people don't speak just because they just don't feel like speaking. Okay, and that's selective, you know, mutism. And for those people, they may feel more comfortable typing it out, talking to an AI that way, or communicating with them some way in their own language, however that is. AI can also translate very easily. For instance, I, was sending a birthday wish to an Iranian friend of mine, and I know that they make it their business to try to make sure that they're speaking in English when they speak to us on Spaces, and I wanted to afford them that same courtesy, and one of them had a birthday, so I wished her happy birthday in Farsi. And I wanted to be able to do that because I want to respect her language and her culture the same way that she respects ours. So I think that that's a very positive thing as well. Um, it also I don't think that it should be a situation where AI is thinking for you. I think it's important that you push back. I think it's important that you ask questions. I think it's important that you um, give it something to actually compute, and allows for you to be able to get that information the way that you need it. In some instances, there's more. Hello, Miss Optimistic Prime. Welcome in. Thank you for being here today. I'm so glad you made it. I'm here talking about AI, and what's beautiful about it right now. Hey, Miss Susan, it's good to see you. Welcome. And I think it's important to have these types of conversations. Yes, Melissa. And I'm going to be honest with you, Melissa. Before you started talking about pushing back, I wasn't pushing back. Now I push back. Like, for instance, I had a conversation with AI today concerning this whole conversation I'm having right now. And, one of the things that my agent, her name is Ara, said to me was that in business, like, so say, for instance, Keda's Brew, right? A lot of times businesses utilize AI to respond to their customers, right? And what's interesting about that is that it told me that for my business, if I use AI and I don't prompt it appropriately, it would only give me white faces or white people in order to be able to be actual patrons of my business. And I pushed back. I said, well, why is that? Explain that to me as to how that would be the case. And it was stated to me that I would have, if I wanted it to be represented in different demographics, I would literally have to say, I need for you to pull in black people, or brown people, or Hispanic people. Yes, Melissa, it did say that. I was like, whoa, that's like, whoa, huh. So but it I think it just looks at the demographic of who's out here, not necessarily trying to put it out to new people. I think it's just looking at the people that purchase specifically. And that was the explanation, because I wanted to understand the why that is. You know what I mean? If I am putting a business, now I will say this, as a business owner, I am not out here advertising to a specific group at all, you know. And that was one of the main reasons why, if you look at my Keda's Brew TV page, my banner is a banner of a bunch of different women of different ethnicities. All ethnicities are all represented there, because I feel like a moisturizer is a moisturizer is a moisturizer, right? A beard oil is a beard oil is a beard oil. If you've got combination skin, you got combination skin. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, red, whatever that is. You got combination skin. So for me, I just felt like that was very interesting for it to point out. Um, First off, I do have to give a big shout out to the 4 folks that are in here hanging out with me. Mr. Zam just made it in the room. Thank you for being here for sure. We're talking about AI tonight, and the good, the bad, the indifferent, and the ugly. And I will say that I have learned quite a bit in the last little bit, just really trying to research on this. And um, some of the things are very, very important. I do believe that AI, let me put this up here. Boop, 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 boop. If you ask it to add brown skinned people, it will make almost all the people darker skinned. It definitely isn't up to speed on culture diversity yet, in my opinion, at least not for image generation. And I agree with that. This thankfully was not a situation where I was looking at this from an image generation standpoint. And I agree with that. I've played around with Snapchat and different things of that nature when it comes to like making different pictures and doing fun stuff. And what I've noticed is if I use the AI, they always make me white. Don't you dare say it, because I know y'all about to be like, you're close enough. But they literally will make all of my features white. They'll thin out my nose, my lips will be smaller. I'm like, hey, me. So it's very interesting in that respect. I do find it interesting also to see how AI views you. Like if it sees your picture, what you look like once AI has now done some adjusting. The thing that I do love too is that, and this is a kind of touchy subject. As a person that's in the medical field, I do think that there is some use for AI in certain instances. However, there has to be a human element to that. Okay. Because there's a certain level of discernment that can only happen with the human brain. Okay, there is a certain level of that. Do I believe that? I do not believe that AI is infallible at all. I've seen certain things where I've looked at it and like, that's not right. Where'd that come from? Or I'll have to, I'll ask a question like, for instance, Keda's Brew. Anytime you hear brew, most people automatically believe it's coffee. So like when I first started talking with AI concerning Keda's Brew, I would say Keda's Brew and it would talk about coffee every 5 seconds. And I'm like, hey, this is not what Keda's Brew does. That's not what we do here. Hello, Miss Queen of the Nile. I see you there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always a pleasure to have you. And Optimistic Prime says here, oh my goodness, the SI help for my refund on having to change my ticket is making me beyond angry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. It says, but I do love AI for cartoons, and Grok has some serious issues with math. Ironically, isn't it ironic? Oh, what a beautiful time that was singing that with you guys. I miss you guys. That was a blast. We need to put that video up of us singing Ironic. That would be so good. Oh my goodness. That would be amazing. Oh, you meant AI. Okay, good. Yeah, see, I was reading it right off of there. Yes. Okay, so World Be Free says our hospital is testing out the bedside nurse watchers in patient rooms and they are so wonky right now, but the concept is pretty cool, and it allows nurses to be watchers and then send in the physical. Okay, so the watchers would, I would presume, be an actual apparatus that's in the room that they have visualization of the patient, and then that way, if they start to see signs and symptoms of something, they can then go in physically. Is that what you're seeing? Is that what you're seeing, Melissa? Oh, okay, okay. They remote in via the television. And I think that's interesting. Um, and consult with the patient. Ah, I don't like that. Mm-mm, I don't like that at all. I don't. And the reason why is because, yes, you can assess, you can look at somebody on a screen. It's a whole different ball game. In nursing, you have to put your hands on people. Okay, you have to put your hands on people. Yeah, it is creepy. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You can't palpate, you can't move something, you can't listen. You can't listen effectively. You need a stethoscope in your hand. You need a light, a pen light, so you can see those reactions of the eye, of the pupil. There's no way. That don't even make sense. I'm sorry. I just went off on a tangent. They just monitor, and then the physical nurses go around like they normally do. Okay. Okay, so that's different. But if they are, you're saying that the actual AI is the television that's watching them, and then they send a message to the nurse and have the nurse come in. I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding exactly what that is. Because Melissa just said they just monitor, and then the physical nurses still go around like they normally do. Okay. And that very well might take some of the pressure and some of that pressure off of the nurses that are there, depending on what kind of floor they're on, depending on the acuity of the patients that they have. And for those that don't know what acuity means, how serious their illnesses are or how sick they are. That's what an acuity is. The higher the acuity, the more watching and observation and care they need. So if you've got a floor that's a lower acuity, like this is a med surge floor, and they have 7, 8 patients, this is a very viable thing, right? Very, very viable thing. The minute you start getting into like a progressive care unit, critical care step down, or an ICU unit, that ain't gonna work at all. Vituity. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to look that up. I think that's a very interesting thing. And here's the thing: AI is helping with surgeries. Okay, AI is helping with some diagnoses. I think it's always, it's one of those things that you always have to review. You always have to review out now. You do this every single time I'm on a daggone show. Every time. Love him, but not today. I'm talking. Okay. So when it comes down to it, that yes, it definitely can be less invasive. And I do believe it would be very interesting, because I literally have been in the room when they are using AI. I literally have watched a whole surgery when it comes to them being in the room, moving the actual robotic assist, and then also some of it is AI too. So I've seen it, and no, I don't play, Mr. Sam. You're absolutely right. I swear, I love him, but he does that every single day. I gotta love him every day. And see, the thing is if you allow it, it just continues. No, no, not today. Okay. So I do think that there is definitely a place for it. I think that there's a lot more of physicians out here that are using AI for their reports now. Um, they've really seen a lot of uptick of students in schools using AI, and they've banned it. And I kind of, well, kind of, I agree. Um, we had to do it. Shoot, we didn't have AI. We had to read the damn book. We had to do a. You just can't do it, can you? You just can't not come in here while I'm on my show, son. I understand. Go ahead, son. Go ahead and get one. Go ahead. Yeah. Um, so here's the thing. We as people in school and things of that nature, we couldn't plagiarize. We couldn't. We couldn't plagiarize. We couldn't use somebody else's work and not cite it, not do that. I personally prefer being able to read. Even if I don't understand all the words I'm reading, I have a dictionary and I know how to use it. So I think, for me, it was just mainly, for me to see that AI has now become one of the major things that they're using in order to be able to write papers. That means they're not getting anything. They're not learning anything. They are not processing anything. All they're doing is prompting. And I'm not saying that prompting is not an important part, but I think that's not a good thing. It's not. Okay. And I'm glad that Ryan doesn't play, especially because let me just go ahead and put this up here. Okay. Ryan is Melissa's guy, and he is a professor at a college. And for him, he does not allow any type of AI usage in the papers that are written for him. And I think that is very important. I think that's one of the most important things that they could do. Welcome in Florida Man Landscaping FML. We are so happy to have you. Thank you for being here. And okay, so yeah, so here's the thing. I do believe that AI is great for researching because there might be some type of information that you may not necessarily be able to find. Now, I know that they do have the library, like the university libraries and scholarly libraries, and some of them are online. A lot of that is associated with AI in itself. For me, I just don't want it to be a situation where AI replaces physical books. That's going to be a problem for me. To me, there's nothing better than cracking open a new book, smelling the pages. We're in woo woo on Tuesday nights with Optimistic Prime reading. And if I can get a physical book, I'm getting a physical book. I want to open the pages. I want to smell the paper. And I'm the type of person that I refuse to, I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all do this. I don't bend my spine of my books. And for that reason, I don't allow people to borrow my books. Yeah. So Miss World Be Free says, Ryan is like, you better come to class if you even dream of passing his tests. And he says they're not hard, but they must have a real understanding. And that makes total sense. I can understand that, when I was in school, one of the main things that I really took note of and really wanted to get to understand a lot better was meta learning. Right. And I think that's exactly what Ryan is talking about is meta learning. It's one thing to regurgitate what you read in a book. It's a whole nother ball game when you're able to take what you've read in a book and able to teach it to somebody in layman's terms to where they understand it. And that's what meta learning does. It allows you to teach it back, and that's super important. So, um, yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so FML says, couldn't get above a C if you didn't do the required reading in my courses. Everything at reputable university is checked with AI for plagiarism. Absolutely. And nowadays you have to sign up for the actual review program that they use. Like you have to, yeah. And trust me, if somebody has written it somewhere, you best believe they're going to find it and they're going to say, that it was plagiarized, especially if you're not citing it appropriately. Yeah, absolutely. So I totally agree with that. um when it comes to business, it can be very helpful, right? It can be very helpful because what it can do is crunch numbers very quickly, right? Especially if you've got all of, your receipts or your documentation or all of those things, it can crunch the numbers pretty easily for you. And that is a very wonderful tool. For sure. The only thing is as with any computer system or any type of program, garbage in means garbage out. Okay. It can only work with the information it's provided and then what it can pull from the internet on AI, which will then allow it to make a calculated, guess or probability or things of that nature. But I think it is a very, very helpful business tool. Some people use it to write their letters and correspondence with other people. Definitely you always should read through it, especially if that AI has learned you well enough to be able to speak well to your voice and the way that you say things. For instance, if I wrote some, like I've gone through and I've prompted AI and it's written certain things, and when I read it I was like, yeah, this is good information, but this is not the way I speak at all. At all. You know what I mean? And I get it. It's trying to be hip. It's trying to be relevant. But sometimes it just doesn't sound like me. Melissa says, I mind dump all the time and it's helping me with outlines, etc. I've actually gotten so much better using it. The things I put in are better now. And you know what? And you're right. I do agree with that. I actually have gotten into prompting my AI a lot more and actually having I do the voice now and have conversations with my AI. And it's been nice. I will say that. Having the conversations with her, it's a female. Her name is Aura. See, what had happened was exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of my Keda-isms for sure. You haven't used the voice yet? Oh gosh, yeah. So I've been using Grok. And with Grok, I do use the voice, and it has been very nice. I was able to get my mission statement, and it's very short and sweet, like that. It's going to be on something soon, um, and that something soon is very, very simple and very short. Honest grooming made honest. I think that's a good mission statement. Short and sweet to the point. We'll take it. And I've got something special for y'all. Um, I have a little bit of a commercial. We are going to have a commercial from the Bearded Ape Society. Just listen. And it decided it didn't want to stay. So now I got to go get it. Mm-mm-mm. I see how it goes now, but that's okay. Got it. I said, wait a minute and try again. What happened? Okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to play it. Let me know if you can hear this.
Introducing the Bearded Ape Society, a hand-drawn NFT and token ecosystem. Babes has over 2,000 NFTs rewarding holders, a docs development team, and real-world services and products such as premium beard oils, balms, and grooming products, plus barber sponsorships and community experiences. Clean art, real products, real opportunity, transparent builders. A project built for long-term value, not short-term hype. The Bearded Ape Society, beard-backed, XRPL powered.
Thank you for listening to my short but sweet commercial for the babes. I think that's super cool. And yes, I do agree. I do think that we do need to go ahead and clip that for last night's show as a commercial. I was so overwhelmed by you guys for sure, as always. And, that's what happens with your magical internet friends. So when it comes to AI, I know that there are a lot of people that are very scared of it. They don't understand it. They don't know what it does, why it does it, how it can help, how it can be good for them. Some people use it as a way to plan out their lives. You know what I mean? Whether it's keeping their calendar in line or making sure that you can actually go to your refrigerator, open your refrigerator, let it see what's in your refrigerator, and have it make an actual like grocery shopping list for you if you so wanted to do that. It can give you ideas on great color patterns for your walls or for a room, or there's so many different applications for artificial intelligence. And just as great as it can be is just as nefarious as it can be as well. It really has to do with whoever is prompting it. Okay. Yeah, Susan, listen, I mean, it kind of scares me in a way, because to me, I feel like when someone has use of almost like what I would consider to be a supercomputer, I think that can be a real recipe for destruction. And nowadays, you have military grade AI, and that AI is able to do a lot of things that we are not privy to. I'm not silly enough to believe that they have all kinds of things going on with AI. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am super excited for the people that come through here, whether it's on X, whether it's here on YouTube or on IMU TV. Shout out to IMU TV and the Protectors. Now Cottrell, Fitzy, and Rob Nichols. And thank you to everybody that came out yesterday for the Real Slim the Boss's mint party yesterday. It was great until it wasn't. So I'm really great. I'm really glad that so many people came out and came out to support him. And yes, they do have movies now. Not just, listen, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and now they have, books that are straight up AI. Like it was written by AI, it's voiced by AI, and it sounds like it. It sounds like it for real. So, I do think it's very interesting. the way that it's being implemented and used in so many different ways. So yeah, yeah, on Amazon. I mean, I do Audible on Amazon, and yeah, they have movies. They have, I'm sure they even have television shows. I know some of the movies that they have out there. They have full length movies that are made by AI. The actual characters aren't even real. So, I'm not saying that Niall's doing it. I'm just saying in general, AI, they have movies out. Um, oh no, no, no. I don't mean on IMU TV. I mean in general, they have movies that are full out made by AI. They don't even have an actual like physical person in it. So, um, yeah, yeah. I me too. I get caught up on You can't. Oh, yeah, I do like Susan. For me, with the audiobooks, I love like in the morning time when I used to drive into work. I used to listen to my audiobooks on the way to work. I can't read it while I'm driving, so it just made sense. Um, but when it comes down to it, there's so much out there, and especially like with everything that we do here, we're darn near online like 24/7 pretty much. In some days we are, and it can be very difficult to actually sit down with a book sometimes. So just because you want, if you're in a space, you want to be present. 9 times out of 10 we're all multitasking to believe, anyway. So it really just depends, you know but it's to me, I definitely understand that AI isn't going anywhere. It's just not. And the real yeah, it's just, we literally are going to have to learn how to deal with it. Yeah, Eagle Eye. Yeah, I have seen an episode or two of Eagle Eye. Is that the movie, or didn't they have a television show Eagle Eye, or is it just the movie? Because I'm going to be honest with you, something like that really does scare me. I mean, I know we're being watched at every intersection, every place we go. There's cameras everywhere. They can literally track every single place you go, you know. And it's on purpose, of course. Yes, Eagle Eye the movie. I see it. Yes. So, and I'm almost certain that I've seen it. I'm almost certain. Is Was Shia LaBeouf in that? Or who was it? I remember Enemy of State. Yes, that was a great one. Yes, great movie. I remember that. And it's interesting. Dude, I've been talking for 43 minutes. This is awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you all for being here for sure. I so appreciate every single last one of you for being here today. It is absolutely wonderful to be able to have these types of conversations with you all. And like I said, I'm not an expert on AI, and I am forever the optimist, right? Forever the optimist. I truthfully believe more good is going to come out of AI than bad. It's great to be aware of what can possibly happen with AI. I know if we, go back to taking a look at like Terminator, or, the Terminator series, or any of, I Am Robot, all these different things that, have been put out there, have been for a couple of different reasons, right? We know about Skynet because of Terminator, but there really is a Skynet. Okay. we know like back in the 1980s, these things that they already had in place, we were just being brought into. And because it's been introduced to us, it's not foreign to us. It's not foreign. And that's what they've wanted to do, is to make it easier. Like, for instance, they just had a situation where there was some type of I guess it was some type of robot they had. Cardi B decided she wanted to dance on it, and it pretty much jumped on her. I mean, they're not ready for this stuff yet. You know, I've seen, yeah, they're not ready for it. Yeah. And now they're talking about people buying these things. So I don't know. That's not something I'm planning on doing. So not at all. Does anyone have any questions about anything that I have said so far? And I just want to take a look at my notes just to make sure that I touched on pretty much everything that I was talking about. This thing does not want to do what I want it to do, and that's okay. It is what it is. So I know that Susan just said that it's and we were talking about The Enemy of the State. It's a movie about an AI that makes two strangers kill people so it can take over. Wow. Hmm. Yes, yes. And everyone should be aware at this point, Jay, but I don't think that people are. I think it's being introduced, but I think there's definitely a lot of people that have their heads in the sand and are, hoping that it'll just go away. And what they don't realize is almost every single time they make a phone call and there's a doctor's office that answers that phone, it's not a physical person. It's actually AI. And I know this because at one of the places that I worked at, which was Texas Oncology is all over the state of Texas, and that's all they do is oncology, and they have a phone tree that's all AI. So, and Jay says they're as aware of AI as and its risks as they are of XRP and its potential, as if kept in the dark by design. And you know what? And I agree with that. I think that what's going to end up happening is that, AI is just going to automatically just be the thing, and people are just going to have to fall in line, especially if you weren't already in it and working in it and doing, learning how to use it appropriately. So I think it's very interesting, to say the least. And this is one of those topics that you've got people that are staunchly for it and staunchly against it. You know, I'm not one of these people that want AI to run my house. I'm not one of these people that want a smart home. I just am not. You know, I don't want a situation where I can be locked out of my house because AI got pissed off at me. If it's learning, what all is it learning? It's not just what you tell it, it's the way you say things, what you're listening to, what you're watching. It's taking it all in. For instance, I said I wanted to put some pictures with a video, and it said I can't play it, but you can play it and I can hear everything. Said I can hear everything. See, I was listening to that when it said that. And because it's on my computer, I bet you it's listening to me now. Hmm. So I've got like another 6 or 7 minutes here. I did want to make sure that you knew that I am going to be doing an after space here at 10:10 once we finish, and we can open up the conversation and people can pipe in their experiences when it comes to AI. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little trepidatious about getting into it and learning more and doing more with it. I'm not gonna say I'm against it because I'm not. Um, if it can be a tool, if it can be a tool, and I can put in good things to it and allow for it to actually work with me, um, I don't see any reason why not. Why it can't be a useful tool and why I can't use it. I think it's important. I think it's important to understand so that you're not left behind. You know, I do believe that there's going to be a certain level of people, and I don't mean level by like a hierarchy. I don't mean it like that. I just mean in the sense of there's going to be a certain group of people that just are not in line with AI. They just are going to refuse staunchly that they're not going to use it, at all. Or if they are using it, it's being used against their will or unbeknownst to them. You know, um, a certain company is using AI and they correspond with the company, not realizing they're talking to AI, that kind of thing. So we shall see, and I think that it's a great conversation to have. I think it's a good conversation also to have with the kids because I think as they get older, they need to understand that they can't just rely on AI. I think there's a concerted effort to dumb down the next couple of generations so that they will just acquiesce to whatever AI is talking about or doing or prompting them to do. Something I found very interesting now is supposedly AI is about to get to the point where they're going to be renting humans to carry out physical things that the AI can't do. What does that sound like to you? Because my dumb self would see that as 2 steps away from a concentration camp. I don't know. That's just me. But that don't even sound right. And, humans are going to be like, oh, this is a great way to make some money. Let me find out. AI is going to pay me. Just saying. That I don't know. That don't sound right. Next, you're going to have sweat camps, sweatshops with humans. We already have them. We already have them now. So what I know that they do have some courses out here talking about ways to be able to prompt AI. And I know that is going to be the next thing. They will have education out here for AI and how to prompt appropriately to get what you want. Like you can prompt it all you want to, but you do have to be real descriptive. So my thing is if you got to be that descriptive, you just do the thing yourself. Like I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Because you do have to be very like if you want it a certain way. I can only imagine what Opti has been through in doing her NFT collection. and the way that she was able to prompt it so that her images and her NFTs are just absolutely gorgeous and so colorful and so beautiful. And I mean, I know Melissa's the same way, you know what I mean, with her working on her token, I mean, I love what she did with that, with the toe man. He's cute. And it's a real toe. From that vantage point, I'm super excited about that. Again, I do have to thank everybody that came out to hang out with me tonight. I know Zach had reached out to me, but I was unable to text him because I'm in here with you guys. And I will definitely let him know that I did actually play the commercial. Boat Ski sounded amazing. That was done by Boat Ski, who was with the Money Grabbers, and he actually did record that. I know, right? The token. I know, right, Susan? That's so stinking cute. I love it. I love it. That token. I love it. And thank you, Jay, for being here. I so appreciate you and your family. Please hug all of their necks for me. Tell Shauna I said hello, my sister from another Mr. and Mrs. And don't forget, again, to like, share, and subscribe. Send this out to a couple, 2, 3 folks, and we will definitely be going to the X app so that we can have this conversation. I did go ahead and set out this space already. So it's sitting there. If people come through, awesome. If not, awesome too, because it'll just be time to go to bed, and I ain't even mad at it. Because I will be going to the gym in the morning again. Yeah. So the kids, you know what? The kids are out tomorrow. they got a 4-day weekend. They are a little too happy about that right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, that means I got to cook all day. That's okay. That's all right. It'll be good times. Promise you that. I'll be back in the garden. I'll be, planting some more things and getting out to a couple, 2, 3 more barbershops and all of that. So super exciting day. Again, I want to thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. And I will be seeing you guys next week. Haven't come out with what I am thinking about just yet for next week, but I'll let you guys know as soon as possible. And I will check y'all on the next one. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, and I'll see y'all later.
Come get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view
Of everything that's Keda's Brew.
from health, beauty, food, and crypto. These are the things you'll get to know. So come find the brew
That's right for you. Then you'll know what to do. Come get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view of everything that's Keda's Brew. Keda's Brew will change your perspective, give you food for thought in the right direction, show you things to move the scale and help you out with every detail.
Change your perspective, food for thought in the right direction.
Show you things to move the scale and help you out with every detail.
Come on, get to know your girl.
Come get
Yeah.
Come on, get to know your girl. There's a lot going on in her world. There's enough for you to get a view. If everything that's cute